What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Danny Phillips. If you haven't already, go down, hit that subscribe button, join us on this roller coaster ride of life, as we like to call it. Today, May 4th, I'm posting on the day, and I'm here at Kent State University, where on this day exactly, 48 years ago, yeah, 48 years ago, May 4th, 1970, was a tragic year here at the university. There was a group of men that were stationed right there from our U.S. military. Okay, but real quick, I just want to mention before I go on any further with this video that I am not here to dog the military. I don't condone what happened, but at the same time, I wasn't around. I don't really know much more than probably she does, but she knows it a little bit better to tell the story, so we'll just flip it over to her.
Okay guys, hey, you know that I go here at Kent State in my 5th year. Actually, in my freshman year, I had to take a class on this, which is here at Taylor Hall. At the basement level, which you can't see right now, it's on the opposite side. There's actually a May 4th memorial in there, and we are forced as freshmen to go through and write down reflections of how we feel about it and learn exactly what happened. So basically, there were students and non-students protesting the Vietnam War, and they were both on the front and back side of Taylor Hall. And as you can see, the pagoda, that's where the Army was stationed, and they were given direct orders to open fire onto the protesters. But at that point, there was no way to define the difference of a protester and a student. So in the mix of the next 13 seconds, 4 students were shot and killed in this parking lot, and 9 students in a matter of 13 seconds. So that's all it takes, really. Every year, Kent kind of does a remembrance day for those students that got hurt and lost their lives. Their families and friends were forever impacted by that, and Kent as a university was impacted by that. So it's something that we as a university like to remember and reflect on and try to give out the message that it was wrong. Yes, our military does great things for us, but somewhere in the chain of command it was decided it was okay to shoot innocent students, which that's not okay to most of us. So this is just for them.
Okay guys, so there is 7 of these boards plastered all over where the incident has happened in this little area, and as you can see, it talks about what happened. You guys can pause it whenever if you'd like. It says that President Nixon was going to invade Cambodia and that the students weren't happy, so they buried the Constitution and called for a rally on May 4th. And in response to the May 4th shootings, hundreds of thousands of students worldwide protested the shootings of the students. As you can see there.
That's where they buried the Constitution.
And down there is the bell that you've seen in the second picture where they buried the Constitution. Now we are at number 2 of 7, and it says that on May 3rd, the guardsmen stand duty at a burned ROTC building, and then also on May 3rd that the students were fraternizing with the guardsmen, and then Sunday evening, students held a sit-in at the intersection of Lincoln and Main, which I will show you a little bit later. That is the major intersection between the main street and campus. And then on May 4th, guards prepared to advance with gas masks, bayonets, and loaded guns. It was never mentioned, but assumed that the reason why the guards were here to stand guard at the ROTC building is because one of the students burned it down, but they are not sure, so I'm not going to go with that. I'm just saying that that is a possible theory. Now we're going to move on to the 3rd board, and then on my way there I will show you. It's all open, and this is exactly how it was whenever the students were protesting. Now they use it for lacrosse and stuff, but at least that's what it looks like. Soccer, lacrosse, all that good jazz. And up there is where we first started, by the building. And as you can see, we're all the way down here. Okay guys, so here we are at the third board, and it gives you a timeline of all the stuff that has happened. And it says by noon on May 4th, 2,000 to 3,000 people were assembled peacefully on this site over there at the bell. And as you can see in this photo, all the people that were there. One of the quotes from the wounded students down below: "There was no feeling of danger or impending catastrophe. We were not doing anything that made us imagine the outcome." As you can see, these students didn't want to cause, I don't think they wanted to cause any harm. They were just trying to express their feelings on how they felt about President Nixon invading Cambodia. So they stood their ground and they peacefully protested. Nothing got out of hand. General Canterbury ordered his men to move in to disperse the crowd, and President Nixon ordered open fire on all the protesters. Okay guys, now we're at number 4, and the title of this one is Law and Order and Dissent. Okay, so all the troops were down there walking this way towards the bell. Shots were fired, tear gas was thrown. All the students thought that the guns were here for show, just to scare them away. But they actually weren't. And it says it down here. General Robert Canterbury, noon on May 4th, said these students will have to learn what law and order is all about. And it says guardsmen aim at retreating student on common side of Taylor Hall. And then they walked up back this way, up over the hill to that little, what? That little pagoda that you've seen in the beginning of the video. So there's a lady standing right here that was making gestures at the guardsmen back down that way. And she was actually one of the women that was not protesting. And she was one of the women not protesting, and she actually ended up getting shot. It shows you this down here. There's this parking lot over here. And it says student Alan Canfora waves a black flag, protest 150 feet away from kneeling guards. That General Canterbury huddles with officers before moving back up Blanket Hill, which I'm assuming is that right there. And then it says freshman Joseph Lewis gestures at guardsman moments before he was shot twice. If you call on board number 3, it says right here, this right here on number 5 says freshman Joseph Lewis gestures at guardsman right before, or moments before he was shot twice. On board number 3, Joe Lewis was the one who gave that quote for the bottom of the board. And then it says during 13 seconds, 28 guardsmen fired 67 shots, and students dived for cover. Some did not make it. And it says right here from a freshman at this time, Ron Steele, quote, "I just stood there and thought to myself that surely they must be shooting blanks to scare the crowd off. Then I saw bullets kicking up the dirt in front of me. I turned and ran." So there's that. And then right in front of Taylor Hall, actually this would be the back side of Taylor Hall, there's this sculpture right here. And there's actually this sculpture was here in 1970, and there is actually a bullet hole in the sculpture itself. And as you can see, this right here is the bullet hole. Okay, so the thing that I did, the sculpture that I just showed you is called the Solar Totem, and it was sculpted by Don Drum in 1967. And with the shooting, this is now part of the 17-acre site recognized by the National Register of Historic Places. And Drum quoted, "I'm sorry that all the bullets didn't go into the sculpture instead of hitting the students." It's just crazy to see how big of an impact that this had on this university, and how big, no words can describe what they must have gone through and they just were trying to protest. They didn't think they were going to wake up one day to protest and then never go home again.
And did you think like classes still went on for an additional 2 weeks after this happened? You know, like they don't just shut the university down.
Right, and that's another thing. These kids are paying to go to school. They didn't. After this happened, they didn't shut down school. All of the students that were affected by this had to still come and walk past this or come into this building for their classes. Me personally, I probably would not have been able to do it. And then this is number 6 right here, the Prentice Hall parking lot, which is right there. I will show you all of those in a minute. On May 4th at 12:24, 28 members of the Ohio National Guard fired for 13 seconds towards the parking lot, which is over there. And it killed innocent people just walking to and from class. It killed some of the protesters. There was 4 people dead and 9 wounded. And it gives the names of the wounded people here.
Yeah, so you can see Allison Krauss was the girl who was gesturing at the Army men that were marching up the hill. She was shot. And William Schroeder, his last photograph was actually taken over on the front side of Taylor Hall, and he didn't make it to leave the actual scene of the shooting.
And then the guy that was waving the flag was wounded. And the furthest away, the closest one was Joseph Lewis from 60 feet away, and the furthest away was Donald Scott McKenzie at 750 feet. I don't know if you guys heard that, but she said that after people were shot, the students formed circles around all the people so the guards would stop shooting, so that way they can get medics in there to take care of their wounded classmates, but some of them did not make it. Alright, and lastly, number 7. After all the shootings have happened, about 300 people reassembled down by the bell to protest the shooting of innocent classmates that they went to school with and whatnot. And faculty marshal Glenn Frank persuaded Major Jones not to advance on the student sit-in. And he persuaded the students to leave. Please for the students to leave in order to avoid further tragedy. Okay, so number 6, like you heard before, that they were talking about the parking lot, and we are actually in the parking lot right now, and they have 4 of these set up throughout the parking lot where the students were actually killed. Like this person right here, Jeffrey Miller. This monument right here was actually put here to remember all 4 of the students by Kent State University. Okay, this spot right here is of the 2nd victim, unfortunately, and her name is Allison Krauss. As you recall, Allison Krauss was up by the pagoda all the way back up there, and she was only able to make it to right here before they gunned her down. Alright guys, and now we are at the 3rd spot. This is where William Schroeder was killed. And again, there's the pagoda where they shot all the way back up there. And we are all the way down here. And there's still one more that is actually further away. Okay guys, and we walked a little bit further and we got to the last one, the 4th student, Sandra Scholler. And she is definitely way further from any of the other ones. And the pagoda is all the way back up there. And I don't know if you could tell better or not, these are actually, every one of them except for the one where the first one you saw, they are all in parking spots. And they all have lights that light up at night to remember those that have suffered. Years ago, and thought that everything was going to be okay. They were just going to protest the Vietnam War. And literally 24 minutes after they started protesting, the kids were gunned down. They didn't even give them time to protest. So that does it for today's video, guys. Smash that like button for this video. Remember all the people that have suffered from tragedies in America the past decade. Okay guys, that does it for today's video. Smash that like button. to just remember all of the things that happened in America over the last 100 years or so, and just to, you know, pay your respects to the people that were shot down here at Kent State. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like if it would have been now and she was going through it, because she used to go to class here at Taylor Hall before they moved across campus. And just, I couldn't imagine losing a loved one to stupidity by one of our presidents. I have the utmost respect for each one of our presidents, but to do something like that, to gun down innocent bystanders who haven't even had the chance to live their life. These students didn't get a chance to graduate college with a degree, get a job, start a family. And I couldn't imagine, just sit there, for you, those of you that are watching this, just sit there and think about that. Can you imagine if, let's just say, one of your family members was gunned down at a college for walking to class? But just smash that like button to remember all these people. If you don't want to hit the like button, just take a second out of your day and remember those who have lost their lives around the world. Or if you've had someone, sit there and take a minute to remember someone that you've lost, that you wish you could see again. So with that being said, remember to stay strong, stay positive. We will see you tomorrow. Okay guys, so like I said in the video, I would show you the major intersection where they had the shutdown and the students protested, and actually we're pulling up to the red light, so this is perfect. This was the intersection right here, and that is the main. That right there is where they all sat, and then onto the road right here, and then over onto that road. So they had to shut down this entire road because all the students were protesting.